Hi friends, this is part 2 of my Q&A. This is all of the non-bookish questions, so everything not book related, although some of it is book adjacent. You can't try to knock over the tripod. Since this is a more casual one, I'll have Kit in here. I had her locked out from my other videos today. But this is covering everything non-bookish related. If you want to see all of the bookish questions answered, that's on my other channel. I'll link that on the screen. So starting with YouTube. What have you been up to in terms of witchy stuff? I always love to hear updates about your different practices. So I should be posting some videos either later on this month or beginning of next month for Vlogmas, but the reason I haven't been posting as much witchy stuff is because I haven't been doing that much witchy stuff that's like actively witchy. Like I've kind of been slipping a little bit. I used to consistently do new moon and full moon tarot card spreads. I have not been doing those, mostly because I was doing spreads that were sort of like pre-made by like people on Instagram basically. And I found that like the spreads weren't necessarily very helpful or like didn't really work for the themes of that month, so I kind of started like, I don't know, losing faith in them. Faith is a strong word, it's not a religion. But you know, like that kind of, I was kind of getting like doubtful of them. So I think I needed to be a little bit more specific with like making spreads that were tailored more to me, and I just didn't have the energy to do that. Hi. I also have been slacking a little bit with some of my like cleansing and stuff. I'll go in spurts. I mean, the cleansing and stuff I tend to keep up on because I do that monthly, actually bi-weekly. But I did some like house protections and then just kind of like got burnt out, and I just haven't had time to read a lot of like witchcraft books lately. So I just haven't been as into it, but I'm still a witch. Like I still do witchy stuff. Like I did do ritual bath. Like I've been doing stuff for like the full moon really. So like I did a ritual bath a few weeks ago. What I want to start doing actually when I get back from my trip is like basically make myself do like a spell a week or like a ritual a week or something, because I think one of the reasons that I don't practice a ton is because I have some of the basics sort of down, and then I haven't done as much spells as I want to, because I have this thing where like I'm very precious about it and I'm like, it's not important enough to do a spell, where I just need to be like, if I need something, I'm doing a spell for it, just to like get in the practice of it. So I just want to kind of do a little challenge for myself that way. I did do some stuff for Maybon. Like I guess I've done more, but at the beginning it just felt like I was doing so much more. Like I haven't really been doing my meditation practice as much. And that's mostly because I don't have my phone in my bedroom anymore, and I was using an app for meditation, and now I put my phone in the bathroom before I even go to bed. And so like that has kind of been interrupted as well. So yeah, I've been doing stuff for the holidays. I think I'll do, I mean, I have something planned for Samhain while I'm overseas. I'll do something for Yule. I kind of tend to, the fall holidays are kind of like my favorites. And then I'll try to stick with it for the rest of the year, but I tend to be kind of bad about it. I also really want to get more like witchy friends in the area, but it's really hard because, I don't know, I feel like witchcraft, because it is still like a niche thing, it will sometimes attract people that are just very, I don't know, extreme, I guess. And that doesn't really appeal to me. So yeah, there's been some barriers, but I'm still a witch. Like I still do a lot of just like witchy things. I've been wearing my protection jewelry still. I do a lot of ritual baths. I do a lot of cleansing. She's been so needy today. I want to do more. I want to get back into it more. Not that I haven't been into it, but you know, I just want to do more than I've been doing. Probably see her hair like flying all over the room now. Where do you shop for clothes? You have such a cute witchy style. Thank you. Most of my shirts I get from Killstar. And actually I was recently talking about this on Instagram. I want to have more of a, for winter, dark mori, or they also call it strega, even though like I think that's the Polish name for witch or whatever, style. If you look up those sort of like alternative styles, I want that. Although there is this really weird overlap with a lot of people that wear that clothing that are white and have dreads, which is not okay and appropriate. It's just like a really weird Venn diagram thing where there's some overlap there, and I'm like, ew. But I just basically want to look like cozy goth hobbit during the winter a little bit. So I'm gonna try to do some things with that, but there's not like one store you can get shit like that from, but the witchy stuff, the like witchy sort of goth styles that I tend to wear are all from Killstar. What's your current career, and do you hope you'll be doing the same thing in 5 years? I'm a therapist. I've been a therapist for multiple years now. I've been a social worker for like over 10 years, and I will likely still be doing that. I went to get my master's for it. Like I do not see that changing at all. I'm gonna be opening a private practice probably in the next year, in the new year, like for sure. And yeah, I do want to continue to vary up what I do though as well. Like I don't ever wanna be somebody that makes all my money just from one space. So for now, I do make some money, like part-time job money-ish, from all of the content creation. That includes YouTube, Twitch, things like that. So that's what I'm gonna be doing, you know, for now. And in the future, once doing content is like no longer a thing, which I'm assuming that'll eventually be the case for me, I still want to do like other things. So a lot of people that are social workers will also be like adjunct professors and like do some teaching, stuff like that is kind of what I want to do. Also, I can see myself like just being like, fuck it, and running away to the woods and like opening an animal shelter. So like that's also possible. There's some tattoo questions. There might be more than one here, but let's do this one first. This is the first one I'm stumbling on. Who are some of your dream artists that you still like to work with for a piece in the future? I don't really have like dream artists where I'm like, I really need to get a piece by them. I just like certain styles. I really love my current artist that like has done all of these. She's great. I have a lot more stuff planned with her. There is an artist who was the first person that I ever booked with, but he didn't have any openings until 2023, so I'm not even getting it done until January, February, I forget, of 2023, even though I booked it in 2020. And that is Gaddy Marcato in Chicago. He has a really unique style. He's doing a like tarot card-y design for me on my calf, which is gonna be spicy. I'm saying spicy in that it's gonna fucking hurt. Like tattoos just hurt. So I'm getting that in the winter, and I'm really excited because his art is fantastic, but also he's hella fucking expensive, and the waitlist for him is insane because he never closes his books. Now that you're able to travel somewhat safely again, do you have any other travel plans outside of visiting the besties besides going to the UK? Well, as you're seeing this, I'm there. No concrete plans. My best friend Molly and I have a number of best friends, obviously, but my best friend Molly and I have the same half birthday. So like I'm August 12th, she's February 12th. We're exactly, 6 months apart on half birthdays. So I said this year, I didn't see her for my birthday this year, and I was like, we should make this not be a thing. We should always see each other for like our birthday, half birthday. So we're kind of tentatively planning like some kind of trip in February, like a long weekend is all, but to like somewhere warm. She says an island. I don't know if an island is possible, but like somewhere warm. If it's like Florida, fine. Speaking of Florida, I did mention to my mom that I would like to go to Disney World with her. She's never been to Disney World. She's only been to Disneyland like 30 plus years ago. And I saw this video of this like older person that got taken to Disney World. My mom's not old, but she's like gonna be 70 next year, so kind of. So I would like to do that. And then there's gonna be a BookNet Fest coming up. It's gonna be also Florida. And then outside of that, I wanna do some more national parks. I don't really have any international travel planned for 2023. We have kind of talked about, Sarah Jane and I, she has a Norwegian cruise that she wants to go on with her partner and one of her friends, and I was like, should I come back and do that too? But it's gonna be really expensive to get over there and then do that. Like, I don't know if that's actually gonna be possible after this trip. It's really pushing it, but also part of me is like, you're young and like the money will come. And I'm like, that's not how it works. So yeah, a lot more domestic travel plan. Potentially next Halloween. I haven't locked this in yet, but I've been saying for years that I wanna go to New Orleans around Halloween, so that might happen. I also wouldn't mind doing something like Salem before Halloween season, like September. Yeah, but none of those are like concrete, but yeah, some things planned, but nothing probably international for a little bit. Here's some more tattoo questions. How's the tattoo sleeve coming? Good. This is what I have so far. This is gonna be a patchwork sleeve, and I'm not rushing to get it like completed because I wanna leave room for other things on here. So this whole sleeve is all my favorite books and things. So I have one more planned for this, and then one that like if the series ends well, which is the Witchland series, I will get another one for that. And then that's all I have for right now, and then anything else I want to add will be like later when I read new favorite books and when things have like lasted. Like all of these have been books that I've loved for like years, and I kind of don't want to add another piece to this until I've loved it for years. That's just me with this sleeve. Like more power to some people, but like I saw some people, for example, like last year and stuff, getting like arcane tattoos, like for the show Arcane, like that depict character tattoos basically, or like people that went out right after Our Flag Means Death and got like tattoos for that. Again, more power to you if that's you. I could not. I would need it to be like significant for a while for something like this. I also am somebody that's totally like a fan of like flash and things, tattoo flash and getting random shit, but like significant shit quickly is a little bit too much for me. But yeah, it's coming. But then I'm gonna start working on a lot of stuff on this arm next, and possibly like some leg stuff. And yeah, I'm getting into the more random shit territory, I guess. I mean, they all have like a meaning behind them. I don't care if they do or not. And I would, again, love to get some flash. I was hoping more artists locally to me were gonna do some cool Halloween flash that I really liked, but no one is. So many people are only doing custom shit right now, which is fine. But I'm like, I want some just like cool stuff that you wanna do. And like no one's doing it, so it's a big bummer. Someone said tattoos, show yours and meanings if comfortable and what's next. Okay. I will eventually do a tattoo tour like maybe next year sometime when I get all of the ones that I'm planning to get so far done. But let's do this. We'll do an order of how I've gotten them. So this is a bottle from the Night Circus. All of these are interpretations, like my interpretation and artist interpretation of things from different books, but I didn't want anything that was super obviously a fandom tattoo, not my style. And then again, if something happens and those books are like shit in the future, or the author comes out as being a horrible person, I don't have to change it because it still looks fucking cool. So this is one of the tents that sticks out to me from the Night Circus. That was always one of the like the most influential scenes. For those of you that read it, it's the tent where bottles have certain smells tied to memory. Then we have this, which is the Owl King, kind of the Owl Queen in this case, because I think that this tattoo is a woman, but the Owl King from The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This one, oh man, it's hard to kind of show you. This one is for Uprooted by Naomi Novik, and this guy is from The Winter of the Witch by Catherine Arden. That's why we did the little snowflake. This kind of ties in like everything together, kind of. But I have one on my thigh, but I'm wearing like pants, so I can't really show you. I'll put a picture in here. That is just a Luna moth that looked really cool. I was getting this one, I think, and my artist had some art pinned up, and I was like, that one's really cool. And she's like, yeah, the girl that was supposed to get it didn't come back. And I was like, oh. She's like, do you want it? And I was like, hell yeah. So we tweaked it a little bit because she had it like more like spidery and stuff like that, but I was like, I want a fucking Luna moth, so we got that. It feels like I have more. I keep wanting to be like, what? But I don't. All of them, the rest of them are things that are planned. So plans, I will already have it by time this video goes up, but this video is getting edited and put up before I leave, so I'm not gonna be able to insert anything here, but check out my Instagram because I'll probably be posting it there. But over here on this arm, I am going to get, while I'm seeing Sarah Jane, a crow on an antler to represent the Grishaverse, obviously. That was the series that we first read together that like solidified our friendship, so I wanted a crow. And it's gonna mirror this guy, so like be the same thing on this side, like size-wise. Then I'm going to get a bell here for the Abhorsen series by Garth Nix. And then I have the tattoo that I mentioned earlier, the tarot card. It's gonna be a tarot card with Mass Effect elements in it. Excited about that. Those are all the ones that I have booked. I think that's everything I have booked. My friend Molly and I that I talked about earlier want to get coordinating tattoos, because again, Sarah Jane and I are getting this, it's coordinating. She's not getting a crow or anything, she's doing something else for Grisha, but that's gonna be sort of our coordinating tattoo. My friend Molly and I are getting some kind of coordinating tattoo. We're leaning towards her getting like a full color sugar bottle, sugar and spice, right? So like sugar and spice and everything nice, whatever. Coordinating theme, her getting a bottle sort of similar to like this kind of situation with like nice things in it, sugary things, like cute things, whatever, pink and like very vibrant, like maybe one of those sparkle tattoos. I'm gonna get I plan on getting all my tattoos in just black and gray. And I'll get the spice bottle and I'll have like, maybe like a little skull and like nails and like whatever, spicy things, right? So that's tentative. And then I also have two artists that I'm keeping my eye on for my other thigh for a Persephone themed tattoo that's similar to the art that I have for the Patreon, but in like their style. And there's two artists that are close to me that their books aren't open right now, but that I'm hoping will have books open by like spring. And then I will likely be taking a break for all of summer again, because I don't like getting tattoos in the summer. They're exposed to sun, you can't really do much if you get sweaty. It's easier to heal a tattoo, in my opinion, in the winter and deal with the potential dryness, because I lotion up my tattoos like nobody's business. So I would rather do that than worry about like anything in the summer. So those are my big plans. I also wouldn't mind, I have like so many things I do want to get. I also wouldn't mind getting something on my ear because I can't pierce anything. This is just an ear cuff. But I can't pierce my ear because I get keloid scars. So something like here kind of going onto the face a little bit maybe. And I also wouldn't mind some like collarbone stuff. But I basically plan on just getting my arms and legs and like shoulders ever tattooed. I don't really plan on being a torso person, but we'll see. That could change, I guess. But like that's not my plan. So I think that's all of it. I have some other like sort of vague things that I want to get down the line, but nothing concrete unless someone pops up with some really cool flash. Do you dress up in costume for Halloween? I haven't in a few years. Well, I did last year. I've done some like really easy stuff. I used to go all out, but then I got pissed because I would go all out and then no one would know what my costume was. And like, There were some of the coolest, like I had some group costumes and things that were so cool and people like wouldn't know who we were. And I was like, I'm done. The year that I was like fully done with this is my friend Molly and I, and then our boyfriends at the time, we all did a group costume and we were for Mario Kart, the battle versions of those characters. So in Mario Kart, you have battle where you have like the balloons that you're trying to like shoot and pop on other people's cars to win and you're just driving around, whatever. So she was Peach. I was Rosalina or Rosalind or whatever her name is. The one with the blue that looks kind of like Peach. My boyfriend was Waluigi, I think, which was like a weird choice. I don't know why it just wasn't like normal Luigi, but I guess he liked Waluigi better. And then her boyfriend was Bowser. And so we had the costumes and then we had like weapons with them. So us girls had like shorter costumes and like combat boots, and we got like machine guns and painted them the like Peach and Rosalind colors, and we had balloons. And like, I think I was doing special effects makeup at the time, so I think we had like some special effects, like scar blood things going on. And then obviously like the costumes, my friend sewed it, we had the little hats, we did our makeup, like the really big eyes, whatever. The guys had like, Bowser had the backpack with like the Bowser shell, and I think like just Bowser looking, you know, he didn't have to do a whole ton. My boyfriend had like bomb-bombs on his like outfit, and people were like, what are you? And it's like, we are obviously, like I get that maybe you don't get the battle version, but like we are obviously these very iconic characters. What do you mean, who are you? We put so much time and money into it, and then I ended up having like no money for Christmas. So I was just like, I was over it at that point. But the last few years I've done like some random stuff, not every year, but like last year I was a vampire from the Vampire Diaries. So I just did like makeup and like the little veins and fangs, cool. One year I did like a skull makeup kind of thing, like a traditional skull, but it was almost like watercolored. I did one year, my, again, boyfriend at the time and I went as a cat and Jackson Galaxy. From My Cat from Hell. That was very funny. Yeah, so I've done like easier, funny costumes these days because I don't want to put all the effort in, and it's almost like more fun to do these low effort ones these days because putting all that effort and no one knowing your costume is the fucking worst. Favorite cozy game, and they emphasized favorite. Favorite of all time. This is hard. I think I'm gonna say Stardew Valley, for sheer hours of content and complexity and stuff, but a very, very close second. Oh man. I have two tied for second because they're very similar, and I would say like Cozy Grove, which I'm currently playing, and Spirit Fair. I know I'm cheating, but I really love those two. Are like my top three, I would say. I love them. Will you ever look up your astrocartography chart / do you feel like Chicago is your forever home? I have looked up my astrocartography chart. I should look it up right now for the sake of this video again. From what I remember, there was no really good lines anywhere that you could actually like live. I feel like a lot of my lines are in the fucking oceans. If you guys aren't familiar with astrocartography, it's basically you enter your birth chart and then there's certain lines like around the globe, and certain lines will mean certain things. So like a Venus line will be like a place you could find love. A Jupiter line I think is like success. A Mars line, you might have trouble, like you might get in a lot of fights there, whatever. So I don't feel like any of my good lines were anywhere in particular. Let me look it up right now though, I'm very curious. Okay, so I just looked it up for the United States, and right now Chicago is between my like sun line and my north node, which is just like self-actualization, like good stuff with those things, right? I didn't have really good stuff going on the East Coast. I had like a Mars and something else. But then what's interesting is a fuck ton of lines, like big ones, are over in like the Pacific Northwest. So like Washington and Oregon. Like right close to the coast kind of, but they kind of go through most of the like western half of both of those states. So it's funny because I could potentially see myself living in the Pacific Northwest. A lot of people say I very much have that energy. I just don't know when I would do that because I've really made a like home for myself here. But like I could see that being a place I could end up. I have some interesting lines over in like the UK and Europe, like through France, Ireland, and just like Scotland and Britain and stuff. I have some like interesting, I have like a Uranus, I have a Jupiter, I have a Saturn. Like those are some big ones. And like Neptune, those are some big planets, like big like esoteric kind of planets over there. Where the fuck is my Venus line at? Okay, my Venus is like in, again, some weird spots for me, just because places I would have never even thought about living. Like Poland and like close to Budapest and like Romania. I don't personally see myself living in those places. Oh, it does go through Stockholm. My Venus line literally goes through Stockholm. Is my future spouse gonna be Swedish? That'd be interesting. Otherwise, other countries that I like don't even speak the language, I'm not even gonna look at because I'm like, I can't try to find my spouse in those places. So yeah, that's interesting as far as like Europe and America, like what that kind of looks like. But as far as, do I think Chicago will be forever? Not necessarily, but I don't think I will necessarily go very far. Again, unless I meet a spouse in another country, which I am down for. But I really like Chicago. I love Chicago. I could also see myself in like Minneapolis, and again, like Pacific Northwest, but I don't think I'll ever be an East Coaster again. I don't think I'll be like a California. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Right now, it's really nice. I have a really good support system here. I love the area here. I love the place I built for myself, and it's also nice to be close to like support system things. Like for example, I'm leaving for a month. My parents can take the dog. It's a non-issue. That wouldn't have happened on the East Coast. Will you be visiting London? Yes, by the time you see this, I'll be gone. But I was there as of you know, you guys, it's crazy that I'm filming this for like far in the future. But I was there for a week visiting, and I will be doing a vlog. This will be like for Patreon people, of like the whole trip. I will be doing, I think, like a bookstore vlog on my like booktube channel. But yes, I was in London for about a week. How is the job going? This is a little bit different than the questions about career earlier. It's good. I have a schedule that I really like, and I'm about to go private practice at the beginning of the year. I'm getting all that stuff together to be my own boss, which is very funny because when I was growing up, my dad was his own boss, and I was like, I don't think I could ever do it. And now I'm like, that's all I want to do. So I am my father's daughter. Have you seen Thor: Love and Thunder? I haven't. I'm horribly bad about keeping up with any of the new MCU stuff. It's too overwhelming to me. I know you don't have to watch all of it, but the fact that I haven't watched all the TV shows is really overwhelming. I miss when the MCU was just movies. I loved WandaVision. I did. But like, it's so much easier for me to catch up on movies than all of these TV shows. I can't. I'm so far behind. I haven't watched like 6 of the TV shows. It's too much. If you had to, or if you could rename all of your pets, what would you rename them? I don't think my pets could have any other name. I really don't. I can't see them as any other name. This is just their personality. They all have little nicknames too. Like, that's who they are. But if I had like new pets, if I had, you know, in the future pet names, I think of future pet names in the way that other people probably think of baby names. I never think of baby names, but future pet names, absolutely. I do want a King Charles Cavalier. That's a boy. And I want to name him, I think Winston. Maybe Walter. Winston. I want him to have a cute little old man name. I love that. I do want a black cat in the future. I obviously already have a Binks, which is a black cat name, but I had a boy cat and I had to name him Binks. So I probably would do a basic bitch thing and name them something like Salem or something. Oh, I would probably, like if I ever got a white cat, I would probably name it Mogget. Is that tempting fate? Possibly. But I would do it. If I got an orange cat, I would probably name it Loki, because Loki is canonically a redhead. That would also be playing with fire though. Every animal or person that I've known named Loki, chaos. I mostly go off vibes when I name animals, so like they are their personalities. And I would have to meet them first before like choosing a name for them, really. Favorite music and podcast to listen to? I'm an alternative rock bitch. Some of my favorite artists, I tend to do mostly like just like mixtape things these days, but I really like Paris. The like witchcore subgenre of music I do really dig. I also listen to a lot of like, you know, alternative 90s, classic like pop punk / pre-emo, like old Panic at the Disco before it was just Brendan Urie, and Fall Out Boy, Paramore, even like some early 2000s almost like dad rock now, but I have a really soft spot for, like Chevelle. But mostly it's stuff I get recommended from my Spotify. Oh, I also listen to a lot of like Viking sounding music, so like Danheim, things that sound like witch music. I listen to a lot. Anne Boleyn, a lot of just like, I mean, Blink-182 is one of my favorite bands. They're coming out with another tour, but it's so expensive I probably won't be able to see them, and it makes me want to die. But yeah, a lot of just like alternative rock, vibes. As far as podcasts, I listen to a lot of like witchy podcasts, although I don't really have any that are like all-time favorites for witchy podcasts. They're kind of hit and miss for me. I do like New World Witchery, which is sort of like a North American folk magic podcast. I like them a lot. They're probably one of my favorites, but there's like a ton of witchy podcasts. Maybe I'll talk about that too, coming from Vlogmas, like a whole video, because that really would take like a whole video. There's a number of them I listen to. I've really recently gotten into Maintenance Phase, which is pretty popular with a lot of people, and sounds like a cult. Maintenance Phase unpacks like diet culture claims, for the most part it's diet culture, and Sounds Like a Cult is a look into sort of like pop culture phenomenons and things and how they're kind of cultish. So like they did one like the cult of RuPaul's Drag Race, the cult of Goop, the cult of toxic relationships and online dating, and nonprofits. They have like all of these things and the ways that they are culty, which I think is kind of fun. So yeah, I listen to mostly witchcraft podcasts, and those two are my go-tos so far. Speaking of, are you going to make more videos about witchcraft? Like I said, yes. I have some, well, I think I just posted them. Again, when you guys will see these versus when I'm making them. Some tarot walkthroughs, and yeah, I think making content about it will motivate me to do it more, as bad as that sounds. Just because I do really like sharing my hobbies and things. But yeah, I do really, especially for winter, want to be on it more, which means I'll be talking about it more. Need some love advice. How do you know if they're the one? Okay. Sit down with Auntie Sam right now. Here's the thing about the one, in my opinion, this is my opinion. I do think that soulmates exist. However, I think we have a lot of them. I also don't necessarily believe in twin flames. I think that's a very toxic concept. The thing about the one is you're never gonna fully know, and even if you know at one point, that can change. So for example, my ex that I talked about earlier, I at one point like really thought like he was the one. Like I thought I knew at meeting, and like I even told my mom, like I was talking to her and I was like, how did you know you wanted to marry dad? Like right after meeting him, and our relationship wasn't bad at the beginning. Like this was not a relationship that was like abusive or anything like that. It got really toxic towards the end, on both of our parts. I will say I think it was more him than me, but that's just me. But we just basically grew apart. I think he was the one for me at that point. And if I would have stayed similar to how I was when we met, I think he would have been the one. We would have gotten married and we would have been very happy, potentially. I just in particular grew in a different direction than him, and he had remained pretty static. He kind of was who he was going to be in a lot of ways. Wasn't really growing a ton. He was already he was a decent human. Like it wasn't like he was like, oh, you really need work, but like there was stuff he could have done, but you know. But I think at that time, me meeting him, like that was the one. And then I changed a lot. Like if I sometimes think about like if he saw me now, which maybe he does, are you watching this video? You know, he could look me up really easily in the way that I couldn't. Now I have a ton of tattoos, not a ton, but I have more tattoos than I had when I was with him. I had 0, and identify as a witch. He's still very Catholic, came from a Catholic family, a lot of some of these things. So I think that there was things that would like freak him out about me now. And also like very leftist, basically communist. We were already having problems with political views back then. It would only be worse now. So yeah, there's a lot of those things. But at the time, who I was at the time, he was the one. So that's the thing, is like the one can change. And if you don't grow in a similar direction, they won't stay the one, if that makes sense. And is that like scary and hard? Like, yes. And does it make me sad sometimes? Yes. Do I sometimes like just feel like I'm so picky, but picky not in a bad way. I'm so knowing what I want and what my boundaries are and what I'll take and not take, that will I end up with the one? I don't know, because what I want and what it seems like people are willing to give is like so different. And then there's a chance that you meet someone and something happens, they change, you change, they die. Like one of my like big fears existentially, I think I've talked to you guys about this, is like finally meeting someone, right? Which like, I'm not old by any means, but like, you know, I'm in my mid 30s now. So like if I met someone, I don't have as much time as like some people that met their person in like their early 20s, you know? And then them dying. Like that is the thing that I'm like, if that happens, I will be one of those women that's like, I'm never doing this again. Bye. Like I can't, I won't, you know, like we got one more shot. I basically told a lot of people like, The next person that I seriously date, if they're not the one, I'm done. Like, it's just like, or if they're not someone that I could marry. I'm someone that wants to get married. I don't want to have kids, all that. You guys didn't ask any of this, but like, that's where I am with it. So yeah, my complicated answer is you're never really gonna know, because our brains lie to us, number one, a lot of like hormones and stuff, and then them being the one can change. Top 3 Halloween treats, because this is from pre-Halloween. I love a caramel apple. I don't know if these are necessarily Halloween. I love an apple cider donut. Like from like a apple orchard. As far as Halloween candy, like my favorite candies are Butterfinger, Milky Way, and probably Twigs. Probably Twigs. So those are my 3 favorite like Halloween candies. But outside of that, outside of that, I would say apple cider donut, a caramel apple, ish. I've liked those more recently. I would say just like a pumpkin frosted sugar cookie, big fan, and then like a pumpkin muffin. I love it. And last question, how are you? How are the babies? Are you all thriving? That's a good way to end it up. I am good. I do believe we're thriving. The animals are great. They do really love this place. I really like this place, I like this neighborhood. The place is basically exactly how I want it besides my office. My office continues to be a shit show, but hopefully in the new year I'll get this all like up to what I want, up to par. And yeah, I really like it here. I am so much happier than I ever was like in Delaware, and I'm very glad that I moved back. So yeah, that was fun. I love talking to you guys about stuff. Thank you for your questions and things. If you have any other ones, you want me to clarify something, leave them in the comments, it's totally fine. And hopefully if you're just here for this video, you stay, because like I said, I'll have a lot more content here for Vlogmas as well. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.